This is the new Dreaming of Venice Kumihimo necklace. Isn't she beautiful? The star of each one of these necklaces is a handmade pendant featuring a genuine Murano glass focal bead. These beads have a very, very rich history going back hundreds of years to the glassmaking industry in Italy, and they use a variety of different techniques. This one has the little roses in it. This is, and please excuse my attempt at Italian pronunciation, mille rose. And then these details of like that sparkly copper. In English, we call that goldstone. And in the Italian glass industry, they refer to that as avventurina. And I love the story of this. They call it avventurina because it's a little adventure every time you make it, because you never know how it's going to turn out. It's actually very difficult to get this beautiful sparkly copper effect. So we have the mille rose, the avventurina, and then we have the gold foil over the top of this. So just a lot of detail and a really stunning focal piece. Every pendant in the show is different. So they're all handmade, and then they were all wire wrapped by me. So they're going to have an 8mm bail up here, which slides nicely onto your necklace. So that's a very straightforward Kumihimo design where you just you do have to wiggle it a little bit, where it's just going to slide on when you're finished. And then depending on the style of pendant, it'll have assorted fun little dangles. These with the little ribbed gold beads. I only had a few of these, but these are vintage gold-plated beads from Italy, so I thought it was fun to include some of those when I could. The necklace itself is an all levels Kumihimo project. This is going to be beaded kangogumi, so top right down, bottom left up. If you've never done Kumihimo before, I would recommend that you read through our beaded Kumihimo starter guide. And then we also have another PDF called Understanding the Braid that just goes through how to read and understand a stringing chart. This beautiful ombre effect is created just by the order in which you string the beads. Now, something that is a very small detail but really makes a huge difference in this necklace is if you look at the very center, the beads get smaller. So we use size 11 seed beads right here in the middle. And what that does is it gives the pendant a place to rest so that it doesn't walk around so much. So whenever you have a pendant on a necklace that's not attached, it wants to just keep like walking around as you wear it. This was the test model, and like it's not a big deal. That's just like a thing that happens with jewelry, right? If your pendant isn't like attached and is a slider, it will slide. But it was something that I just spent a lot of time thinking about, like, how could I fix this? How could I just make this like a little bit better? And I played with a couple different things with the bail, but this is what I came up with, and I really, really like it. So it's just a little tiny section of size 11 seed beads, and because it's smaller, the pendant isn't as likely to climb up and over, right? Because there's just like a little bit of a speed bump for it. Like, it's not impossible, it can get up there, but it really stays put much better with that little resting point for it. Also, visually, when you're wearing the necklace and a person is viewing it, you know, from like 2 to 3 feet back, this is the same color as the wire wrapping, so it gives the appearance of a larger bail. So it really draws your eye to the pendant, and I think that that's really lovely. So in this show, Dreaming of Venice, we're going to have pendants in a variety of sizes. This is the largest style, these big rectangles. And these guys, let me get this on here. So from like the bail all the way down to the longest chain, it's like 4.5 inches. The bead itself is like 1 3/4 long and like 1 1/4 wide. It's a really substantial piece, very dramatic. And I knew immediately when I saw these rectangles that it was going to have a tassel, that I just wanted that movement. I wanted to continue this elongated shape. And so I went with some chain on here in 3 different lengths. So I only have a few, 3 actually, of this style, 1 of each color. That's going to be a common theme in the show. I have a lot of them where I just have 1 of that color. So then the next size is the one we're featuring in the sample necklace. You can see it's a little bit shorter, because it's round, but they're really about the same width. This one's like 1.5 inches across. And then our next smaller size is about the same length as the rectangle, but is narrower and has this really beautiful elongated shape. I only have 2 of these. It's such a sophisticated shape. I love that. And then in the coin, so this is our biggest coin, and then I do have some smaller ones so you can see them for perspective side by side. And again, they have different little dangly beads. And the bails they rotate around in there. So sometimes when I set them down, the bail turns and it sits sideways, but when you wear it, the necklace will keep it that way. And then the long hollow ones, these are blown. Just look at that. So the blown ones are mostly about the same length as the big rectangles, but obviously much narrower. So I just want to give you like a little preview of like the types of pendants that we'll be featuring. I'm going to make another video where I go through more of them in detail. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the gold foil. Gold foil and silver foil is a major theme in Venetian glass, and it comes in 2 styles. So in this one, the gold foil is on the outside of the bead. So like when I'm touching the bead, I am touching the gold foil. And then the other style, I don't know if you can tell on camera. I think you can, especially if I like turn it this way. See, there's like a layer of glass over the gold foil. So when I'm touching the bead, I am not touching the gold foil. The gold foil that is under glass is permanently in there. It's not going anywhere. It can't leave. It's under a layer of glass. When the gold foil is on the surface, it will someday wear away. Probably not someday soon, unless you like obsessively like do this again and again and again and again all day, every day. If that's the sort of thing you do with your jewelry, I would recommend you select a style where the gold foil is on the inside so that you can't rub it off. That's just something to be aware of. Like I have a lot of teacups in my collection that have gold foil on them, and the gold foil, you know, is slowly wearing away. I suppose I'm drinking it. But that doesn't stop me from loving them. It's just something I want you to be aware of when you're making your selection. These are just so incredible. It's taken me about 4 weeks to wire wrap all of these. I shouldn't have got so many, like if we're being realistic, but I just fell in love with them. And I'm like, yeah, let me wire wrap these for you. Because they're all so different and they're all so beautiful. And I think you're really, really going to enjoy this show. And yeah, so we're doing, of course, if this isn't clear, the pendants are ready to wear. I have completely wire wrapped them. You don't have to do any of the wire wrapping yourself. So you're just going to, the hardest part of this whole project will be picking which one you want, because the choices are very, very difficult. And then you're just going to braid this up. You're going to follow the stringing chart and braid this up Congo Gumi. We're going to finish this with our tier cast magnetic end cap. And the pendants do actually, generally speaking, slide over here sometimes. It depends on the end cap. I know the instructions are going to tell you to put the pendant on before you glue your end caps on, just in case. But depending on the combination of the tolerance of the end cap as well as the wire wrapping, sometimes they slide off. Oh, this one doesn't. The copper one does. So there you go. That's why the instructions say put the pendant on first. This one though, I can take it off. The only reason I mention that is just like, if you are aware that your pendant can slide over your end cap, just know that when you're taking your necklace off and on, so you don't accidentally drop your pendant on the floor. Anyway, I'm in love with these. I think that you are really going to enjoy them too. Each one is just a marvelous little work of art that you can wear, and it's a beautiful necklace to accent the pendant. And